Today we have Joe Magowan from Dillon Bass, the Irish Whisky Ambassador here in our store in Magherafelt. So Joe, you're very welcome here to Magherafelt. Do you want to tell us a bit about yourself, please?
Yeah, so as you say, Kenny, I am the Irish Whisky Ambassador. So our portfolio would include brands like Powers, Jameson, Redbreast, Middleton. The two whiskies we have today, we've got some from the Jameson family and we have some from the Powers family as well.
So Joe, once the bottle of whiskey is opened, how long will it keep?
Well, actually, once opened, if it's stored correctly, it'll keep indefinitely. It's not something you really need to worry about going off. I would say keep it out of direct sunlight and don't put it somewhere that's too hot or too cold.
Does the type of water used in making a whiskey have any impact on the final product?
It does, yeah. A lot of distilleries would be quite protective about the type of water they use. Down at our distillery, we use water straight from the Dungorney River, but we actually put it through a process called reverse osmosis. This basically takes out all of the minerals and anything that might affect the flavour of the final whiskey.
So purifies the water almost?
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah, very good. And talking about water, Joe, is water the preferred mixer to have with whiskey, or what would you recommend to mix with whiskey?
I would say once you've bought the whiskey, drink it whatever way you like it. I mean, for me, I personally don't mix my whiskey. I sometimes would make a cocktail, but generally I would just drink it straight, or sometimes just add a drop of water if it's a quite heavy whiskey and you want to really open up the flavours.
Right, so ice normally would tighten it up a wee bit.
Ice would really, it'll kind of dull the flavours a bit, so I would say if you are going to add ice, do it sparingly and try it without first of all, but if you enjoy it with ice, fire away.
There's a different colour across the whiskies. What gives whiskey its colour?
Most of the colour in whiskey actually comes from the barrels that it's aged in. So in Ireland we have to mature whiskey in wooden barrels for no less than 3 years, and this is where much of the colour and the flavour comes from.
How long has your distillery been in operation?
So our distillery has been set up since 1975, so we've been producing for quite some time. Before that, it was actually a few different distilleries, but they came together in the 60s to form Irish Distillers, and that's when we built the new purpose-built facility in Middleton in Cork.
Okay. How many varieties of whiskey have you got in your range?
Well, we have quite a number of brands of different whiskey. Down at our distillery, we make pot still whiskey and we make grain whiskey. Then there are other variables like age and the type of casks we age them in. So ultimately there are dozens of different styles or flavours of whiskey we can make.
Right, okay. What is your favourite whiskey, Joe?
For me, free whiskey always tastes better. Right now, out of this range, if I was to pick one, I would probably say the 12-year-old John's Lane from Powers.
Is there a bottle of choice that suits the female market?
No, I don't think so. I think it's just interesting to see that a lot of our new whiskey consumers are female. Whiskey drinkers are now often younger as well. It's just shown us that whiskey has come along. It no longer has the reputation of being an old person's drink or a man's drink. It's now something that's a bit more trendy and people are taking more of an interest in it.
Right, okay. Well, Joe, can we, my mouth's getting dry here looking at these. Can we have a go and taste some of these?
Certainly.
So, where do you want to start?
The first three we've got here, these are new releases from the Jameson family. So we've got the Distiller's Safe, the Cooper's Crows and the Blender's Dog. And all these whiskies, really, the purpose of them is to kind of reflect each of the masters' role at our distillery. So we'll start with the Distiller's Safe. So our master distiller, Brian Nation, this whiskey is all about showcasing his influence on the whiskies. So this is really all about the distillate. So it's very light. I would describe this as having quite a floral quality.
Yeah.
On the nose, you definitely get like a lighter bit of tropical fruit. I get quite a lot of grain sweetness. It's really about showcasing the distillate before it's had too much influence from the wood. So if you want to try a wee drop. It's got a nice kind of gentle sweetness.
It has, yeah.
Not too much oak, not too much spice. Like I said, I get really light, delicate fruit. A little bit of a kind of grassy quality as well.
It is, yeah. It's light, actually.
Yeah.
Easy drinking.
The second whiskey now we're going to go on to is kind of going in the opposite direction. So while the first one is all about the distillate, this is really about the wood. So our head cooper, Jer, has used several different types of casks for aging this one. So it's going to have a little bit more of spiciness to it. It's going to have a little bit more toasted oak. It's going to have a little bit more dark flavours. See what I mean about the contrast to the first one?
Yeah, big difference.
Much more spiciness. Now this will have a little bit of a sherry cask finish to it, so it has a bit of dried fruit as well.
Yeah, you get that in the nose there, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely get a little bit of like marzipan.
Yeah.
But if you want to go ahead and have a wee sip. It's a much bigger whiskey.
Yeah, a bit of bite of that, yeah.
Yeah, it's nice to have the two of them side by side to kind of compare them. Now the final one we're going to go on to this is really about the blend. So our master blender, Billy Lighton, it's his job to kind of create harmony from flavours in different casks. So I find for this one you have qualities of both of the first two whiskies, but something else as well. So for me, that is undeniable tropical fruit.
Yeah.
Like I get quite a lot of clementine oranges, a little bit of pineapple, I think, as well.
There is, yeah.
But if you want to have a wee sip of that. It's got a really nice,
different again, yeah.
I mean, for me, that's all about that kind of nice, light, orangey, tropical fruit. It's got quite a long finish as well.
It has, yeah.
They're
Warm finish.
they're whiskies that we're quite proud of because they're really showcasing the role and the craft of the people who make the whiskies.
Yeah.
So those are the new ones from the Jameson family. The final two we've got here, these are both from the Powers family. So the first one we're going to start with is the 3 Swallow release.
This one's fairly new. This is only out about
In the grand scheme of things, yeah, it's only been out now for I think about 2 years. But this is what we call a single pot still whiskey. So this is entirely made up of pot still whiskey. There's no grain whiskey in here at all. It's been aged primarily in ex-bourbon barrels with a small amount of sherry aging as well. So again, it's got a little bit of the tropical fruit, but it also has a little bit of, I mean, I get banana bread from it. Everyone gets something different, but for me, I get a little bit of kind of fudgy, definitely a bit of spice too. But these are known for, pot still whiskies are known for having what's called like a quite creamy mouthfeel. So if you want to take a wee sip and see if you can notice that. It really coats the inside of your mouth.
Really different from the previous 3, yeah.
It's got a really rich spiciness as well, and pot still whiskies again are known for being quite robust and spicy.
It's really smooth with that creamy taste.
This is one that I would say is dangerously easy to drink. It goes down easy.
Yeah.
Now the final one we're going to go on to, the John's Lane. So this is another single pot still whiskey. This is a age statement whiskey, so this is at the very youngest 12-year-old whiskey in here. This again, like the last one we tried, has been aged primarily in ex-bourbon barrels and then has been finished in Iberian oak. So it's much bigger, even on the nose.
Yeah.
Instead of tropical fruit, we've got more kind of spiciness, more coffee, a little bit of chocolate.
Deeper.
And these are all flavors that I'm getting. You might get something different.
No, I'm with you on it.
It's also a little bit stronger.
Not as creamy.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit richer. I mean, for me, I get a lot of like leatheriness or a bit of pipe tobacco or something in there.
Yeah, cigar.
Yeah, cigar is another good one.
Yeah.
But no, it's it's cracking stuff.
Beautiful. All drinking exceptionally well. That's great, Joe. Thank you very much.
Glad you
It's
enjoyed
been a
the
pleasure
whiskeys.
having you here, Mark.
Been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks very much.